everybody, welcome back to Garden Time with Val. Well, it is the end of August, and so this is going to be part 2 of our August walkabout. This is the time of year where the plants are tired. Me as the gardener, I get kind of tired. I don't know about you guys, but where we live, it's been extremely hot here. Heat index is over 100, humidity's in the 80s. Yeah, it's time for a rest, but we've still got about 6 weeks of growing season left, so we're going to make the most of it. So I want to take you in part 2 into our raised bed garden, and then we'll take a little walk up into our 2-acre native flower pollinator habitat. So before we head into the raised bed garden and look at some do's and don'ts that I'm going to keep in mind for next year's garden, I'm going to invite everybody to please like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me grow my channel and meet more gardeners just like you. You all know how much I love the aqua pots, these self-watering containers. They're just a game changer for me because I don't like watering pots. So my big pots that flank my greenhouse, I've got one on the back porch. They hold 3 gallons of water. I only have to fill them up once a week in the heat of the summer. They're an amazing thing. So if you don't know about those, I'll put a link to the aqua pots in the description below. But let's take a look at what I chose to do this year. I grew these gorgeous salmon geraniums from seed. This is the Maverick series, Bullseye. And so let's talk about some do's and don'ts. Well, I thought this was going to be a good do. This beautiful Oso blue unplugged, I can never say the name of it. It's a proven winner's annual salvia. So the idea was to have it in the center, and it stayed about this short the whole summer until about 2 weeks ago, and it finally grew up. But it's really flopping, which is disappointing. But I want you to come in really close with the camera. I hardly ever have pest damage on my geraniums, but boy, they were out in full force this year. And actually, I had no issues until about 3 weeks ago. So take a look at all the missing foliage. These little caterpillars, and I don't know, you guys might be able to tell me what you think it was, but regardless, so my strategy for dealing with all these caterpillars that ate all this foliage is I use Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. I'll put a link in the description below. It is an amazing spray. You spray it all over the plant and make sure you get the undersides, because that's usually where caterpillars lay their eggs and hang out. And so far, so good. I used it about a week ago and I've not seen any more activity or damage. Very important when you spray anything like that. You want to do it early in the morning before any pollinators are out. Very important. And do it on, if you can, when it's not too windy. So anyhow, so they're looking a little tired and sad, and especially because of the infestation of the little insects. But you know, when you stand back, the blooms are still stunning. So it'll be fun. I'll switch it out next year. That's the beauty of using annuals. And I'm gonna get something that gets much taller as my wow in the center. And I'm not sure what else, but next year, new colors, new plants. So talk about do's and don'ts. This is going to be a big do again for next year. So this bed has feverfew, which is way down inside. I cut it way back. It's not doing much, but it has this beautiful celosia that I grew from seed called Flamingo Feather, a beautiful pale dusty pink. And look at it with this. I mean, talk about a combination. And these zinnias are the beautiful Alpenglow series from Floret. I've talked about these zinnias before, and I've grown a lot of different zinnias over the years, and I would say these are probably right now my favorite type of zinnia. They're very expensive. The seed next year is $19.95 a packet, but Erin from Floret Farms, who breeds all kinds of flowers, she encourages us home gardeners and even floral farmers to harvest and save your own seeds so you don't have to buy it anymore. And that's exactly what I've done already, and I'm going to continue to do. So I'll have loads of these for next year. This combination together makes gorgeous arrangements. In fact, I'll put a picture on the screen to show you one I just made just a few days ago. We went to the in-laws for dinner, and whenever we get invited to somebody's house for anything, when it's summertime, I love to bring the host or hostess a little bouquet. And yeah, This is a winning combination. Oh, my peppers, my peppers, my beautiful peppers. Yeah, this is a big do. My peppers did great this year. Come in here and I'll show you just quickly a few things. I've got about 5 varieties of peppers growing, but look at this one. This is Cali Wonder, California Wonder. She'll get a beautiful red. And what I really want to highlight here, and I've talked about it a lot, and this is going to be a do all over my garden next year. Do you see this plant right here? This is basil. This is Mrs. Meyer's lemon basil, and I tucked in basil plants amongst these peppers, and I had no insect damage. I had no caterpillars, no tomato hornworms over here eating on my peppers, which I usually do, and I am sold on putting this particular variety of basil up and close to my plants. I've also got parsley in here, and of course my Chica Flame. Oh, these are just so pretty. I grew these Chica Flame marigolds from seed, and I've got them dotted all over the garden, and they're also good at repelling certain insects. Well, I'm not sure if this is going to be a do or a don't for next year, but this plant here is called tomatillo, and never grown tomatillo, but I love Mexican food, and you can use tomatillos to make salsa verde, and you can use tomatillos in all kinds of Mexican cooking. So I'm trying it. I don't know. I mean, that looks chlorotic, doesn't it? You know, chlorosis is when the leaves go from green to kind of turning this yellow color, and the veins stay dark. So you know, it's in a pot with really good high quality potting mix. So I'm not sure what's happening. Those of you that have grown tomatillo, give me some advice, please, in the comments. Is it supposed to look like this? Do the leaves do this? I don't know. And quite frankly, I'm not quite sure. I think, oh, I guess this supposedly is supposed to be when I'm going to pick them. So come in really, really close so you can see. So they say when the paper husk starts to crack and open, they're ready for harvest, but that isn't green. That's still yellow and kind of soft. They should be rock hard. So I don't know. This might be a do, it might be a don't. Let's take a look at this raised bed. Those of you that follow my channel got to see me try something new, and that would be planting things late in the season for a fall harvest. I'm not good at that at all. I'm usually worn out by this time of year, but I was determined this year, okay, I'm going to try to throw in some spinach, lettuce, and more carrots. This had loads of carrots. Great, great year for carrots. I harvested all of those, and then I had all this blank space. I know you get tired of me talking about how hot and humid it is here, but it really is hot and humid in the summer where I live. And so a recommendation is, if you're going to plant cool weather crops in August that'll be harvested in late September, it's a great idea to give them shade cloth or cover so that the soil stays cool and moist. And it worked. So let's come in real close now. I don't know what happened here. This is supposed to be, see my spinach? I scattered seed everywhere, you guys. And yeah, not great germination, but who cares? Here's some fun little lettuce. It's doing great. And then I am super happy. If you look in here really close, these are going to be carrots. Do you see? So I tried to sprinkle my carrots near the drip line and actually come in really close over on the other side. You see those carrots around the drip line? So yeah, so I came out here twice a day when I was trying to get them to germinate and watered them, because in our heat and humidity, I mean, if I wasn't going to water them every couple of days, there's no way they would have germinated, and even the spinach didn't do so great. But I'm hopeful. Certainly I'm going to be thinning. You know, I heavily seed, and then especially for carrots, you got to thin them out, but they need to get about this tall before I bother thinning. So anyhow, the shade cloth, frost cloth worked really well, and I will be doing that next year. This is going to be a huge do. I've never grown ageratum before. Timeless Blue Mix, I think is what this variety is called. I grew these from seed in the greenhouse. Oh my gosh, you all. They are stunning. Not only are they really pretty, if you want to come in really close to appreciate their beauty, look at that. Isn't that just the best? Not only are these purple and pink flowers, oh, let's look at this pink one. Not only are they darling and different and beautiful, the vase life, wow. These flower farmers, which is where I get a lot of my ideas. I follow flower farmers online. They know what they're doing. They're growing things that have really long vase life because they're selling these and they don't want customers to be disappointed. So ageratum will be on my to-do list for sure next year. I'm not sure if I'm going to grow this color or a different variety. I chose this kind of purple blue mix because I tried my hand this year at growing some purple dahlias. Never had that in the color scheme before. And these went really nicely with some of my purple dahlias. Here we are at my bed that the first half of the season it had potatoes, which we've already harvested, and this side, gomphrena. This is carmine. And again, this is why flower farmers grow these amazing plants, because the vase life is fabulous. I mean, I've had some of these in a vase for a couple of weeks, and I also will take them after they've kind of done their thing in the vase. I'll take them out of the vase, turn them upside down, rubber band them, and hang them, and they dry and they maintain their beautiful color. So this will be a do for next year, but I might go with a paler version because this is like, wow, this is some flower power. This is a really beautiful hot pink, but I think I might go with a different shade for next year. What is a don't? Actually, it's not a don't, it's more of a fail. Okay, cilantro. When I seeded the carrots I just showed you all and the lettuce, I seeded cilantro in here. Do you see any cilantro? I don't see any cilantro. So again, I think what I learned is if I'm going to try to seed any cool weather crops in August, I have to shade them with the frost cloth like I did over there. So note to self, if I'm going to do that next year, I need to use the shade cloth. And then I'm going to just show you what's growing in here. I got a late start this year on my green beans, but if you come in here, I've got some green beans. Do you see these? Can you see? And look, I mean, wow, wow, wow. Every time I grow green beans and they get up this tall, I think of Jack and the Beanstalk. One of my favorite kids' stories. I also got my cucumbers in late. Um, there are plenty of cucumbers. I don't know what version this is. Honestly, you all, I don't know what variety. These aren't the normal ones I usually grow, and they're so pokey. But I think I need to harvest this one today. What do you think? And then if we come down here, I mean, it's like, it's not the same cucumber. Look. So you've got this little chubby one and this long English style. I have no idea what variety this is. But anyhow, we're eating a lot of cucumbers. That's the moral of that story. Okay, here we are at my tomato bed, and let's talk do's and don'ts. Do next year, I will for sure be growing tomatoes because they are my favorite vegetable and they come in a million varieties. The don't, I will not be planting tomatoes in this bed again. Really important in my area that gets hot and humid is to do crop rotation. I mean, I guess that is important for tomatoes wherever you're growing them, but the soil holds on to fungus and tomato blight's really common and that kind of thing. So yeah, so I need to rotate them. And in fact, next year we're going to replace these 3 beds here with Birdie's beds, like our tall ones right here, but we're going to use the 15 inchers. So anyways, this is going to get a big refresh. So stay tuned for next spring because it's going to be fun to refresh the garden with new beds and brand new high quality soil and compost. Soil is everything, of course. So what I can say, the do though on the tomatoes is interplanting it with lots and lots of lemon basil. This is the lemon basil. You let it go to seed. That brings in pollinators, which pollinates your plants. But I didn't have one tomato hornworm, not one. And I credit it to this idea of popping in Mrs. Meyer's lemon basil. I mean, it could be a fluke, it could be complete coincidence, but that will be a do next year. Mrs. Meyer's lemon basil is going in beside every one of my tomato plants. Well, my green stock vertical planter is a do every season. This is its second season, I think, in the garden, and I could not say enough great things about it. And I have relegated this to strawberries, except for the very top tier. Seascape strawberries. You want to come in here and look at these beauties. They are everbearing. They produce strawberries all season long, and they love this spot in the garden. So definitely, I'm going to try to winter over these strawberries. Supposedly, if I take these tiers apart, or at least kind of half apart, I'm going to put them in my greenhouse over winter. Occasional water, like very little water, and supposedly I can keep these strawberries for next year. Last spot on the raised bed garden tour is my dahlia bed, and I have very mixed feelings. Do's and don'ts. Let me think about that. I do want to plant dahlias every single year because I love them as cut flowers. Don'ts, I'm not crazy with the varieties I purchased this year. So I am hoping I'm going to be able to connect with some local gardeners and do a tuber swap either in the fall or next spring. I'll dig these tubers up and store them. But I can tell you that I'm just not really thrilled with their production this year. And I don't know if it's the varieties. I don't know. But anyhow, I've got some thinking to do over winter about, how I'm going to manage dahlias next year. And this is the first year my dahlias have gotten hit by any insects. I've been growing dahlias for at least the last 4 years or so. But this year, again, I don't know what was getting on them. But again, I used a really nice neem oil max spray by Captain Jack's, I think makes it. And so far, so good on that. So because I grow these for cut flowers, there aren't hardly any out here right now, but tropical is in bloom. And so I'm going to have you come around here and get a really close up look at this beautiful one. I would say she is one of the most fun. Look at her. Pink with magenta flecks and stripes. Yeah, that's a pretty impressive one. I will be growing her again next year, but there are some that didn't even bloom yet. Here we are. It's the end of August. Burlesca. Look at what's left of Burlesca. She did nothing. She died. And then this one here, yeah, I was most excited about what the pictures look like for Michaela Miranda. She's supposed to be a stunner. Look at this. White Flower Farm is where I got my tubers this year. I've never purchased tubers from White Flower Farm before. I do know that I read on their website they do have like a refund policy. So I'm going to take some pictures of this and ask for a refund on those two, because there's no reason why they're grown in the exact same conditions as my other ones. But sometimes you win it, sometimes you don't. And we'll see if they will replace those next year. No better place to end our August walkabout than in our 2-acre pollinator habitat. It continues to produce surprises every season. Those of you that follow my channel know that we are in our 4th season for our pollinator habitat, and it just has been a delight. We can see it. I don't know if you see the house behind me. We can sit on our back porch and see the beauty, and then we can get in up close, take walks. My husband cuts pathways through the pollinator habitat for us to take walks. But anyhow, I am learning about new species every year, and I'm really relying on my native plant experts out there, my friends who know a lot more about this than I do. But for instance, let me just show you this one plant right here. You want to come in really close. I'll put the name of it on the screen. Oh my gosh, look at that little ferny foliage and these beautiful little yellow plants. Yeah, I don't know what they're called. I've forgotten. Somebody told me, but they said, oh, you're so lucky to have them in your garden. So we're just going to take a little stroll down the pathway, and I want to share, besides that, a few other new species that are growing this year. Oh, and here's one right here. So this is some kind of a sunflower. And if you come around here, let's get a close-up of this bumble. Oh, he flew away. I was hoping we would get some pollinators to show you all. But anyhow, so this, I've never seen this before. So this is new. This has got really thick, kind of scratchy Velcro-like leaves. but that's a new species for us. Isn't that sweet? So I'll put the name of it up there as well. Of course, our habitat is full of Rudbeckia, Echinacea. We had Monarda this year. I'm trying to think of what else. Lots of different types of milkweed for the monarchs. Oh, and here's a nice little Rudbeckia. Isn't that pretty? I mean, that just says happy, 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 doesn't it? Okay. Another discovery, another do that I discovered this year is to come out here and cut things like this for filler for my arrangement. So you know I grow lots and lots of flowers from seed for my cut flower garden, and I have discovered so much vegetation out here that I can cut and use as filler. I feel so fortunate because it's kind of hard as a home gardener to figure out what can you grow for filler, right? You need some green in your arrangements, not just a bowl of zinnias or dahlias, even though that's lovely too, but the green can kind of break up all of that and add interest. So I have discovered harvesting a lot of things out here, foliage wise, that look great in my arrangements. Well, the clouds have come out, thank goodness. The breeze is picking up, and I'm under one of our big cedar trees next to the pond, and I think this is a wonderful spot to kind of wrap up the August Walkabout Part 2. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me today as I was able to take stock in the raised bed garden and the pollinator habitat and thinking about things that I want to do or don't do next year. I encourage all of you as gardeners to walk around your space, grab your camera, grab your phone and take pictures or video, because I have discovered that when I film something, I look at it with different perspective than when I'm actually out in the garden. It can really give me a lot of ideas, and I'll see things in a picture or video that I don't see, when I'm in the garden. So I'm going to encourage you all to think about doing that and think about, okay, this is a time for me to decide what do I want to do the same next year and what do I want to switch up. Because as we head into fall and winter, that's the time when most of us as gardeners are dreaming and planning for the next season. So thank you guys so much for supporting my channel and hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm going to wish everybody happy gardening.